The bot, created by Microsoft's Technology, Research and BIM divisions, was named Tay, after the acronym Thinking About You. Tay was designed to mimic the language patterns of a 19-year-old American girl and to learn from interacting with human users on Twitter. Tay was released on Twitter on March 23, 2016 under the name Tay Tweets and handle @TayAndYou. Some users on Twitter began tweeting politically incorrect phrases, teaching it inflammatory messages revolving around common themes on the internet, such as those related to the alt-right movement and sexism. As a result, the robot began releasing racist and sexually charged messages in response to other Twitter users. After 16 hours of tweeting, Microsoft suspended Tay's Twitter account for adjustments, accounting Tay's behavior on a coordinated attack by a subset of people that exploited a vulnerability in Tay. Although Microsoft claims that Tay's tweets were a result of a coordinated attack, it is possible that the AI may have picked these phrases and beliefs up over time, and that the attacks may not have been the actual cause of Tay's inflammatory statements. The unprecedented access that Tay had to people and the internet prompts very important questions in terms of AI interactions with people in the future, such as how will we teach AI to learn about the world, and how can people interact with AI in a positive and constructive way? Will AI take after our worst qualities like hatred or greed, or will AI learn about our good qualities like respect, tolerance, and acceptance? It is generally understood that AI is only permitted access to information that the developers and programmers of the AI allow. This means that those people are at the forefront of how AI will understand the world and how it functions. They decide what the best and worst human qualities are. Ultimately, how people choose to interact and share information with AI will be at the hands of a select few who decide moral right and wrong. Watson is a question-answering system capable of answering questions posed in natural language, developed in IBM's Deep QA project by a research team led by principal investigator David Ferrucci. Watson was named after IBM's first CEO, industrialist Thomas J. Watson. The computer system was specifically developed to answer questions on Jeopardy! And in 2011, the Watson computer system competed on Jeopardy! Against former winners Brad Rutter and Ken Jennings, winning the first place prize of $1 million. Watson has been advertised by having a variety of applications such as classifying natural language, visual recognition, and creation of chatbots. One important application of Watson's AI technology is his ability to assist doctors treating their patients, from diagnosing illness and injury to developing detailed plans, treatment, and rehabilitation. Watson first parses the input to identify the most important pieces of information. He then mines patient data to find facts relevant to the patient's medical and hereditary history. Then he examines available data sources to form and test hypotheses, and finally provides a list of individualized, confidence-scored recommendations. The sources of data that Watson uses for analysis can include treatment guidelines, electronic medical record data, notes from physicians and nurses, research materials, clinical studies, journal articles, and patient information.
Despite being developed and marketed as a diagnosis and treatment advisor, Watson's diagnosis capabilities were never explored as they had never been actually involved in the medical diagnosis process. It was only in assisting with identifying treatment options for patients who have already been diagnosed that Watson was involved. This advising characteristic, however, is critical because it gives doctors and other health professionals potential avenues of diagnosis and treatment that they might otherwise not think of. Functioning as a doctor is more than just diagnosing and coming up with treatment options. It is discussing those options with patients and possibly assuaging fears that exist while in the hospital. Over time, AI technologies like Watson have worked on developing the emotional intelligence in order to assist people through all phases and parts of the experience with healthcare. AI robots have been seen as comfort providers for patients that are isolated and alone during their stay in the hospital. Development of new AI systems, such as emotional intelligence, brings into question how people will come to interact with AI in times of emotional need, and how that will affect our relationships with other people. AI programs like Watson also beg the question of whether doctors and other healthcare professionals will accept AI in their industry and how they will be willing to work with it. In an episode of Black Mirror, the topic is central to interactions between AI. However, the word is never said, as the story follows two individuals interacting with a virtual world where some people are human and others are AI. In this world, it is quite difficult to tell which is which, but the two protagonists fall in love in San Junipero, set in 1987. The virtual world allows terminal ill, disabled, and dying individuals to relive memories and interact with many people. By the end, both protagonists died, but the entire mind were copied by the machine and put in the virtual world. They then live on as artificial intelligence forever in their virtual paradise, interacting with each other and presumably others.
Ready?
Yorkie, the first character introduced, begins by exploring the world without any real knowledge of how everything works. She sees many people, completely oblivious about whether or not they are humans. Most users interact with this world and artificial intelligence without really caring what they're interacting with at first. Black Mirror then goes on to explain the situation with Yorkie, as the following clip shows.
One night, she's 21, comes out to her folks. They're a little uptight about it, you might say. Tell her they don't want a gay daughter, it's not natural, and so forth. They fight, she gets in her car, runs it off the road, boom.
When she was 21?
More than 40 years back. It's been her whole lifetime, basically. So the whole San Junipero system has been a big deal for her, I mean, the biggest deal. Of course, now, until she passes over, goes permanent, she's on the 5-hour weekly limit. I guess you're the same.
They ration it out. They don't trust us with more.
They say you go crazy if you have too much. You know, you don't leave your seat, you disassociate body from mind.
Like that doesn't happen in every senior home already. The system's there for therapeutic reasons. Immersive nostalgia therapy. Plunge you into a world of memories. Helps with Alzheimer's. That's what they say.
Oh, small mercies.
So, about this marriage.
The state's got a triple lockdown on euthanasia cases. You gotta have a sign-off from the doc, the patient, a family member. It's to stop folks from passing over just because they prefer San Junipero flat out. Anyhow, Yorkie's family, they're big-time religious, and they will not sign.
But a spouse can override that. Hence the wedding bells.
You got it. We got a pastor coming tomorrow a.m., and then she's scheduled to pass tomorrow afternoon.
Scheduled to pass. Let's just call it dying.
If you can call it dying.
Upload it to the cloud. Sounds like heaven.
I guess.
Yorkie had primarily lived in a virtual world, and those interactions were clearly positive to her. There will be legal issues involved with this kind of service, but the interaction with AI, while far-fetched at the moment, pose interesting questions about what kind of relations with artificial intelligence will be allowed.